There we go. The mighty Jack Harrison. How you doing?
Good, Donnie.
Yeah, man. Stuntman extraordinaire, actor, action hero, heartthrob. The man, the myth, the legend. How you doing, man? It's been a minute. It's been a while since I talked to you face to face. I think the last time I saw you was in Atlanta during the Super Bowl. That Super Bowl weekend. Yeah, man. That was 2019, man. Time flies, bro.
Yeah. I was gonna say, was that February 2019?
Yeah. And so now I'm back here in New York, doing my thing. Left Atlanta, but been here for now. I'm going on 3 years already, man. So it's been flying by.
Wow. How's New York treating you? Everything good up there?
Dude, this is my stomping ground, so this is it's weird because when I was in the South, I loved it. North Carolina, especially. I loved Atlanta. But when you go back to your roots, to where you're from, because over there, I stood out or whatever because of New York guy. Here,
right.
I'm a dime a dozen, so everybody's just like
schmo.
Yeah, everybody's just like me. Yeah.
What is it, like 9 million schmoes?
9 million just schmoes, just walking around, we're all bumping into each other.
And some tourists, right?
Yeah, exactly. But no, man. I see you're fresh off the movie set for like Suicide for Beginners. That movie, you were a stunt coordinator on that. Tell me a little bit about that. The movie looks pretty cool, man. It's like a dark comedy. Tell me a little bit about this.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a kind of a genius writer director on that one. You and I know a few of them, but this one, I remember watching. I think it was like a long time ago, like 2008, 2009, one of those, probably 08, where he had a short independent film in a local film festival, and it won, and it had a twist ending. It was like really serious, really dark, and I think he just toiled at it for years, where he made it more interesting, much more comedic, much more action packed, hence hiring me as a stunt coordinator. So he took it from this little concept and just really fleshed it out to this big over the top thing where this guy's trying to basically knock himself off over a girl or whatever, but he keeps getting interrupted.
30% of Americans do commit suicide every single day.
And so I don't want to do any spoiler alerts or anything, but every time he's interrupted, I think he's trying to knock off his girlfriend and make it look like she's committing suicide. So it's like it's being staged. Like he's trying to off his ex, but he's trying to make it look like a suicide. But every time he's trying to kill her, the pizza guy shows up and the neighbor shows up and the cops, like every time somebody shows up, he has to take them hostage and kill them. And so like now it's like a party, like in the basement is like all these people tied up because every time someone comes, there's another one to add to the collection, and chaos ensues. So the whole thing gets really funny. And Sid Haig was in it a couple of years before he passed away.
Oh, God bless.
He was great guy. Helped him with his stunts. And also I didn't meet him. They did pickup shots with Corey Feldman out in Los Angeles, which I would have loved to have met him. He's a cool cat.
Yeah.
But the cast was fantastic. I mean, they really were. They were extraordinary, and a lot of good prats and stunts, and people getting hit by cars and fire and everything. So it was a good time. The trailer still cracks me up.
Yeah, the trailer was awesome. I watched the trailer. People can find it on YouTube. It's called Suicide for Beginners. It's like this. It's a dark comedy, and like Jack just walked you through it, and it looked really cool. What kind of stunt action did you have to walk them through, and was it anything like what we did in Remnants, the movie Remnants?
Yeah, actually it was totally different story, very similar in process. The director, I don't throw the words around casually, but he's really intelligent, borderline genius with like his filmmaking. I mean, very articulate, very high level. So
who was the director? Who was it? What's his name?
Craig Thiemann.
Okay, cool.
Craig Thiemann, yeah, fantastic guy. And but like he and I had talked, he was like above the standard for writing this and directing it and just bringing an amazing story together. But he, by his own admission, like never had any real action sequences or stunts in his projects. And so he was counting on me a lot to not only execute this properly so no one would get hurt and the production value looked amazing, but even the actual sequence, like how to set it up, how to shoot it, how to pay it off, you know, the inserts, the coverage, the different angles that best do all that. And so bringing me in, I was able to contribute to a masterpiece that I love it. I love the movie, but he was able to learn quite a bit, like how to shoot the action sequences.
Dude, and that's right in your wheelhouse, because not only are you a good stuntman, but you're a visionary. And I've worked with you on enough projects to have seen you in action and to see your thought process go through. Most notably, like on every project, but most notably the one we did when we went to that place. I forget where we were, but you had like this whole set, and you did all the fight scenes.
Oh yeah.
What was the name of that?
No Appointment.
Yeah, No Appointment.
No.
That was great, and I got to watch you in action, choreograph the scenes, pretty much direct all the shots. You knew where to have the camera placement. You just had you understood what you wanted and how to make it happen. So I think that, you know, for any filmmaker, any director, especially if they're green in that area, to get you is priceless, because you know exactly how to sell the shot, from the stunt itself to the choreography to the camera. So that's freaking awesome.
Also the proper way to cheat them.
Right.
So
yeah.
There's certain cheats within a shot, like how you hide like some of the gag. You know, so if you had somebody on a mini tramp, how to frame it out, or when they hit the ground, like you're using mats, but then you have to shoot them where they're flying through the air, but then also shoot them hitting the ground. So there's two different takes. So like, well, how are we going to hide the mat? And how are we going to pick up when he hits the ground, pick it up from there? And so you have to sew it together like a patch quilt, so it all makes sense. So
yeah, man. And I got to, like, working with you again. We did a project for the Carolina Hurricanes. We did this zombie movie, which was before zombies were like the thing, right? It was before Walking Dead and all.
We're being overrun by zombies, right?
Yeah. And we used wire work. And we made the zombies kind of like hover down from the trees and all this stuff. And it was really super cool to see how you did the wire work and just see it all come together, man. I mean, it's definitely impressive. And I talk about it all the time, about some of the stuff that we've done and that you've done, that I was around to see you do, man.
Well, it's also funny is instead of trying to get all the big equipment and the pneumatic pistons, air compressors and all the things in there and pulleys, I'm like, you know what? We'll just use a pickup truck. You know, we're just like, I don't need all that. Like, if you know your cables and you know how to rehearse and you go slow and you find the sweet spot, and then you can like slowly bring it up in escalation. Like,
and you had your partner there, Thor. His name is actually Thor, long blonde hair, big guy. And
before the movies.
Yeah, right? Before the movies. And he was driving the truck, so the pulley, the cable is attached to the truck, and then the guys on the other side, he's kind of just driving back and forth, raising you up, and it was just really cool. But it was safe, as crazy as it sounds. It sounds like a jackass stunt, but it was done very safe.
Well, that one was easy. That one was really easy. What the one where we got pretty aggressive was years ago, was the Savage movie. Like that was the one we spent an entire day. I was in a harness being jerked around across the road and up the trees and I mean all over the place. Like, I think I went home and I took the harness off, took the suit off, obviously. Went home, took the harness and everything, and over the next several days, all these bruises were appearing on my chest, my back, my hips. I'm like, wow, this thing was just ratcheting me around through the trees.
You're like the Fall Guy. You're like Lee Majors in the Fall Guy. Like, I guess these.
I wish.
I'm waiting to see you like taking a bath in the tub outside or something.
Yeah, ice tub.
I might jump an open drawbridge or Tarzan from a vine, 'cause I'm the unknown stunt man that makes Eastwood look so fine.
Yeah, but no, Savage is a cool movie too. If people don't know, Jack played the Savage, which is kind of like a Bigfoot type of monster, and in that movie was the Cobra Kai leader, right? He was in that movie.
Yeah, Marty.
Yeah.
Martin Cove.
Yes, Martin
He
Cove.
just, when you get, it's almost like Robert De Niro, but when you're hanging out with him, it's Bob. You know, it's like, just call me Bob. It's like, well, the world knows you as, Robert, but he's the same way. Martin Cove. He's like, yeah, just call me Marty.
Very
but
cool.
He was one of the coolest cats I've ever met or worked with. Like, you could just tell, like, all the years since the 70s in show business, like, he just had it down.
Right on, man. It's cool that you get to do, all this stuff and doing what you love. And just so people know, Jack Harrison's is a stunt man, stunt coordinator, actor, does it all. I first met you, Jack, on the set of Remnants, and we were getting ready. I was an actor, and we were getting ready to do a fight scene, and you kind of walked me through it, choreographed it, and all that stuff. And I was taking some falls, some hits. We getting, the guys were hitting me with bats and sticks and stuff. I was getting like a gang beating.
Yeah.
But I remember there's a quote that you told me that day that stuck with me to this day.
I know what it is right now. I mean, what is that, like 12 years ago? And I remember it right now.
Yeah, man.
You go ahead. What do you remember?
You told me, you got me to the side, and you were like, listen, pain is temporary.
Yep.
But film is forever.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
Today is just today, but this movie will last 20, 30, 40 years. Like,
yeah. And you were right.
Eat it.
Yep. And and that quote sticks with me to this day. Like, whenever I'm having a rough time or whatever, I just think about, what's going to be here forever, what's the reward, and that gets me through whatever, tribulation I'm going through or whatever. But yeah, man, that was a fun scene. And I wish I had, like, there's some parts of that got lost in the final movie. And you know what I mean? Remember, I was crawling and I was bloody in the camera.
Yeah, your death scene was amazing. Like,
yeah,
you did a great job. Well, we put you in under your jacket, like Kevlar.
Yeah,
a bulletproof vest, and so you had some plates. So, and then the guys had targets. They knew not to hit above or below it was camouflaged underneath your coat, but they knew to hit square in the back or square on the sides. Don't take any liberties. Right. Don't hit them in the neck or the head. Don't hit them in the end. Like, just hit the plates. Everybody just go down. The camera's shaking, moving around. And a couple of things I remember from that was, and also they had never worked on a major film. So there was a lot of locals, a lot of amateurs, first timers. And so they had no idea, like, we're going to beat the hell out of Donnie. To death.
They did too, man.
Yeah, to death with clubs and sticks and everything else.
They were wailing on me. Yeah,
I think what you said, there's a couple of, some older guy or some knucklehead missed the mark and hit you twice in the kidneys or something.
He was poking instead of hitting like this. He was jamming me in my ribs.
He missed the memo,
but I just kept doing my kept back.
use it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, man, he really looks like he's in pain. He's really selling this scene.
God, he's such a great actor. Look at that.
How do you get the blood to come out of his mouth?
Right. Well, the other thing was they didn't know how to. It was in a comedy. It was a serious drama, borderline tragic, and I mean, we're literally killing you. And so I used the metaphor so that the locals could understand. It would be like a bunch of wolves taking down a deer or a horse. Like, you care about there's a pack on him. There's 8 or 9 people beating on him, but he's our hero. He's the one we love, and we worry about him. And so I tried to show them how, like, you beat him and then it slows down and then you draw it out for tension and for drama. And I thought by the time they understood, like, we're just not going to beat on him and move on. Like, there's a way you film it so that the audience gives a damn. And when we started to do that, I remember that I didn't see it because I was working with you, but I heard later there was a couple of girls or women or whatever on set, like hair and makeup or production assistant, that had to leave because it was too gruesome watching you die. I was like, wow, we're doing a good job here.
Yeah, we did, because it was, I remember too, it was 2 of them, 2 women, and they were crying over my death scene, and they knew they were on a movie set. That's how good we sold it.
Sympathy pains, their ribs were hurting, and I was like,
I would love to Tim Sesniak, who was the the cinematographer on that. I would love to get some of those shots that didn't make it to the final cut to just send, if he still has them. I would love to see those, because there was the one scene I remember, I think it was your idea too, and I loved it. We put blood on me and stuff, and then I was crawling as they're still beating me. I'm crawling towards the camera, and the camera's like a low shot. And I just would love to see how that looked and how that came out, but they never used. I think Tim said that it was too gory for the
wimps.
Yeah, exactly.
Wimps. Use it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, come on, it's drama, it's character. Use it.
Exactly, man. I think that would have been if those two women on set that knew it was an act were crying, who knows what it would have impact it could have had.
Especially with proper edit and music, and
yeah, man.
Slow down the death scene with like an insert shot of your face suffering. It's like, but in your character, you weren't even like the lead. You were like a supportive lead. You're in the top 2 or the top 3 on the list there. But even though it wasn't like you weren't quarterbacking it, your character was actually more likable than anyone else in the damn movie. And so he was like everyone's friend. He was like the best friend, your uncle or your cousin, or the best neighbor on the planet.
Yeah,
everybody loved this guy. It was almost like, like when you die, they're like, oh damn, like you just ruined my day. And this guy does.
Well, it looks like our little secret's out now, boys. Did you hit anything? Let's just say we gave him something to think about.
Well, should we go after him?
And do what when we find him? No, we're not going after him. We're not going after him. I'm pretty sure you made your point. Okay, they didn't get anything from us. And I seriously doubt they're coming back.
Not alone, they're not. Look, we're in the middle of winter. Okay, electricity's been out for a long time now. This is when people start to get really desperate. Okay, hunger will make people do things they never thought they were capable of.
So what the hell are we supposed to do?
Well, for starters, we gotta fortify the entire area again. What we did was enough to keep the strays out, but we gotta do more than this.
How you calling human beings straight?
It's just an expression, Lance.
Earl's got a point. We're gonna have to do a whole lot more.
Yeah, that was fun. I gotta, hopefully I could find some clips of that to put into this interview so we can show people, because you did a lot of great work on that movie. You did one extreme stunt that I don't know how
Superhuman, baby.
Yeah, like you could have gotten, I don't know if killed is the word, but you could have gotten seriously
paralyzed,
injured. Yeah. So basically, tell everybody what happened, what that stunt was, and what you did.
I'm trying to break it down quick. I haven't talked about that in a long time.
It's a crazy stunt, and it was awesome. It looked fantastic. You talk about, pain is temporary and film is forever.
Yeah. So basically, you have a golf course community, and a little bit like it was like a hybrid between Hurricane Katrina, where you have total chaos. People were all scavenging for food or medicine or water, and then it was almost like the rich people versus the people outside the golf course community, and so you're protecting your own home, and it almost became like Lord of the Flies, where you have division amongst society, and the whole thing was done by a comet solar flare. So when everybody loses electricity and computers, it's like you slowly have everything unravels. And that's when they were coming for you guys. And of course you played a great character, some amazing acting. It was a survivalist and a great, nice guy. And of course he has all his guns and all his food, and he's ready for anything. You're the best neighbor on the planet when that stuff happens, when a solar flare happens. And eventually the roughnecks, the best way to put it, were coming after the Richies, and they were going to breach their golf course community, which is a gated community, and they were going to overrun it and take their food or their medicine. And in order to breach, they send in, we've seen this in other movies where you just send a car in there, almost like a battering ram. It's unmanned. You stick a brick on the gas pedal and it just drives through the gates. And we didn't perform it that way, but that's the story within the movie. So me and another guy, a great guy, he was also the executive producer.
Yeah.
And we stood outside or on the inside of the gates as two rich guys with our weapons, like protecting our own neighborhood. And without any warning whatsoever, this Jeep Grand Cherokee just comes slamming through the gates and into a bunch of cars that we had, barricading our own gate. And he was supposed to be out of the way, and I was supposed to jump up in the air and let the collision of these vehicles occur underneath me. And then I was going to hit the hood or a windshield or something and roll across the ground. But I was supposed to literally jump up and let most of it occur underneath me. And we had done a couple car collisions prior to that on another movie. And I just picked kind of a hot speed. Normally it's 20, 25 miles an hour or 35 even. But I said, you know what? This will be fine. We'll go a little loose. Let's go 40 because we got like 3 vehicles to absorb the impact.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I got 3 vehicles here. 40. It'll eat that pretty good. And at the last minute, I was supposed to drive. At the last minute, I told Thor, I go, nah, if anything happens, you drive. I'd rather it be on me. Like, I'll carry the stone, you know? So that morning, I did an audible. We switched up where I stood out there with a weapon. And I even told the art department to put a lot more pieces of wood on the gate. So when it went, it would go off like confetti.
Yeah.
Like boards going everywhere. So we have 8 cameras rolling. And they're staged all through the trees and in the distance. And Thor was driving. Of course, once he hits a hot zone, we had it marked off where the cameras were in frame. So he would actually duck down in the passenger side and give the illusion that it was ghost driving. Nobody was behind the wheel. Like they just sent it in there as just the vehicle on fire, no less. And there was some miscommunication between me and the other guy. He was supposed to see the truck coming and back up. And he thought because I was stunt coordinating, I was going to cue him, like, go ahead and go.
Right.
And I was like, here we go with first timers, because I'm like, no, if you see that truck coming, just go. You don't need to cue.
Yeah.
And not only that, we have 8 cameras. I can't exactly give you a signal.
Right. Exactly.
I can't like go, now go, you know, because it'll ruin the take. So I'm waiting on him. He's waiting on me. No one's moving. And I'm thinking, oh, shit. It'll be down here any second. So I finally was like, go. We both have sunglasses on. He looks at me and I said, haul ass. And so he lifts his weapon, but I'm doing it like a ventriloquist. Haul ass. He lifts his weapon and starts shooting. And I went to jump. So I got in jump position. I squat down and I never got off the ground. Bam! 40 miles an hour. All of us were sent like footballs, like bowling pins. Yeah, I just remember going over the hood and just blacking out. And I remember waking up because it was only like 2 seconds, but it was just enough to like surge, like to go dark. And I looked up and I saw the trees and I rolled over on my hands and knees, took a couple of deep breaths because it was like pro football player just hit you, but it was like 40-mile-an-hour truck.
Yeah.
Like imagine carrying the ball through that pocket, you know?
Damn.
Getting hit by a Jeep. So I rolled over, I took a couple of breaths, and then by the second breath, I had complete recall. I mean, the whole thing went down in 3 to 5 seconds.
Right.
And I was like, oh yeah, Jack Harrison, stunt coordinator, Remnants. Yeah, I know where I'm at. And I stood up and I yelled cut. And then I did, you know, not to be silly, but it's what happened. I did what, like you would run a virus scan on your computer where it runs all your files. I was like checking my face. There's no blood. All my teeth are here. I took 1 step, I took 2 steps, and it's like I did a full systems check, like nothing's broken and everything's fine. I'm like, God, I feel great. So I just turned and started walking back up. EMTs come running over, 2 medical EMTs. They're like, lay down, lay down. I go, I don't know if I can cuss on this, Donnie.
Yeah,
sure. We're good. I go, chill the fuck out. I'm fine. Let's go up here and check on these other guys. And they didn't know what to do because they didn't know if I was in shock or if I broke my femur. And I'm like, I'm telling them to relax. Like, this is what we do. Let's go over here. And they went from running in to just, oh, okay. And then they just started walking with me.
This guy is amazing.
I was like, and of course I was in the air and things went dark for about 3 to 5 seconds. So I don't know. But apparently I got hit and they pulled tape measure and they said it was like 47 feet from where I was standing to where I was sliding down concrete, like a human football, just punted.
Damn.
Yeah. So we signed the fender and took a photo and like that was it.
I saw the signed fender. The picture of you flying through the air is epic. That's one of those like holy shit type of things. And also the scene came out great. But what's even more amazing is the fact that you just got up, shook it off, rubbed the dirt.
I got lucky.
Yeah,
I got lucky.
Yeah, you got like real lucky, but I think that the myth of you being a superhuman might be real. I don't know.
I don't know. You know, I was messing with Thor because he's a tough guy. He's a really strong, tough guy, lifting weights and everything, pro wrestler. And we were driving back to Wilmington, and I thought I'd start talking shit. So I looked over at him. I go, he goes, Jack, he goes, I know a lot of tough people, but I've never, ever seen anybody get hit by a car, go 50 feet down the street and get up and sign the fender. And I said, yeah, it makes you want to street fight with me, doesn't it? Like, you want to go outside? And he goes, probably not. I was just being silly because of the moment, but I was like, yeah, it makes you want to go.
Yeah, man, dude, that was like such impressive in a way, you know, crazy. Like, it's like, it is one of those moments where you're like, I can't believe this guy walked away from that. And I think you had a big bruise on your leg and that was about it. But
my hip. Well, it was really weird. It's almost like if you grab Play-Doh and squeeze it, and then it gives the impression of your fingers. My hip had the impression in the fender. Like if I turned sideways, my hip would go into the impression. like you could see my hip mark pushed in on the fender. I was like, damn. That's before they had me sign it. My left hip, like the whole thing buckled.
Is that probably the craziest stunt or the hardest stunt you've done? Or
no, I get asked that all the time. Probably the most dangerous was it wasn't even a stunt, it was more of a shot. It was a shot and nothing happened. Thank God nothing happened. But if it had gone bad, it would have been super bad. We were filming a slasher movie in like the summer of 2008 down in Georgia. And it's the bottom left-hand corner of Georgia. So you're right over the Florida Panhandle. Like you're way down there.
Right.
And we were in real swamps, not a sound stage, not someone's swimming pool. Like it was a real swamp in the woods on private property filming a slasher movie. And my character had to jump out of the water, almost like Jason at the end of the very original. He jumps out and grabs him out of the canoe. And it was a little bit of a tribute to that. So here's this character who's a poacher looking for his brother. And when it gets real quiet, I just jump out of the water and just like a magician pulling the tablecloth off the table, and all the dishes stay still. I just rip them right out of the boat. The boat just sits there like calm.
Right.
The boat doesn't even move. It just like a tiger attack, you know? And we went to shoot that, and the director was from New York City, super director, really smart guy. And he said, you know, we're shooting this scene where it's the opening sequence, like the first 5 minutes of the movie before the credits. It's the hook. And he said, your character has to get in the water and kill the two poachers. And the second one, he rips them out of the boat. And I go, yeah, I'm prepared for that. He said, but, you know, with the alligators and everything down here, and this is an unsecure location, what do you want to do? Because you're also the stunt coordinator, which puts the safety on me too. Right. It goes with the hat. And he says, if you want, we can get these guys to just beach their canoe and you can kill them in the trees. And I said, well, we're not shooting it for about a week. Let me do some research and I'll get back to you. I'll make a decision before then. And I talked to the retired surgeon that owned the property, and he and I sat on a picnic table. And I said, you know, we're shooting this scene here in about 3 or 4 days, about 4 or 5 days, whatever, where I have to get in the water. And I have 2 other characters on it. And before I could even finish, this guy's got a hat and he goes, but he wouldn't even let me finish. I was like, listen, I got to get in the water and I got to, and I was like, hear me out, man. He's like, he didn't like, he's a local. Yeah. So he's like, And I said, okay, good talk. Thanks. So we had, there was a bunch of condors, a bunch of, which is terminology, big overhead lights. And so it would be like a high school football game or a high school baseball game at night where the whole field is lit up. And so there's lights everywhere. Yeah. And so they had the entire area lit up. and you could see anything cruising or moving across the water. And I had about 3 or 4 extra stuntmen, and I said, look, we're here to make a great movie, not a good one. And I had spotters, so to speak. So we get the guys on the boat, we do the kill scenes. And of course, there's the stuff we rehearse on land and shoot it on the water right off the beach. So it gives the illusion you're way out there.
Right.
And I'm like, God, we covered everything, hip waders, everything, the water moccasins. And then I thought, Jesus, once we went to film, there's an entire grid of cypress stumps out here. And I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought it was like mucky or sandy. I was like, oh no, it's like being in a lumberyard underwater. I was like, oh, this is great. I got to pull them out of a boat into this. And the further you go, because now it's shallow, and I'm like, God. So I had blood on my hands from a previous scene, these gloves playing the slasher, the killer.
Right.
And he had a white t-shirt, and I touched him across his shirt, trying to tell him where I'm going to do the stunt. As soon as I did that, the cinematographer who's framing it up, he goes, yeah, we need a wardrobe change. And I'm like, the longer we're in the water.
Yeah. It's like everything's making it last
now
longer.
They're pulling them back in and changing shirts. I'm like, oh, this is bad. This is so bad, because those alligators come in. But we did the scene, and I forgot. I want to do one and done, just one and get the hell out of the water. And I forgot in my haste to tell the actor that I was killing in the scene that we have to stay underwater and for like a good 10 seconds.
Right.
For
Yeah.
editing, 10 or 15 seconds. So I got to pull you under, but then we got to stay under. Well, I forgot to cover that with him. So we have water moccasins, alligators, all this shit going on. And finally, I rip him right out of the boat. And I was not messing around. Like, I grabbed him right by his torso and just gone. He was gone, whether he liked it or not. And we get underwater, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to tell him this. And he started to swim up, and I had to hug him, keep him underwater like I'm drowning a kid or something. And he's fighting me, elbows, punching, and I'm like holding him underwater because I don't want to do 3, 4, 5 takes. Yeah. And I gave it probably a good 7 or 8 seconds. It was like 3 hours underwater, like 8 seconds. I finally let him go. He surfaces and then swims in the water. He's pissed. He's cussing. He walks off set. I was like, they do a playback and they go, God, that is gorgeous. Moving on. And I was like, you could get mad at me, but we got the shot. Let's get
Got it. One and done. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody else is pissed. Oh, well.
And no alligator. Nobody got bit.
That would have been super, super bad.
Yeah, man.
Because they're prehistoric. Like even a 2-footer will jump in and try to come after you.
Yeah, that's what people don't always understand when it comes to filmmaking too, is when you're on some of these locations, you are literally dealing with the elements. It's not always like, it's not like there's somebody, big budget where there's, they contain the area or fences up or whatever they do in those types of scenarios. You kind of, it's not really a run and gun. It's more organized than that, but it is, when you're in the elements, you are working against things like that.
Big time. And that's when you have to really come prepared and be, mentally focused. Even the girls that were like the college girls, I saw their ankles. They were talking about red ants. So they all had like red ant bites and mosquitoes. Like, I mean, it just gets you when you're working those kind of projects. Thor, we did all the wire work I was talking about with the Bigfoot. We did a whole thing of that. The movie was shot in Georgia, but we did a bunch of extra wire work. We had to like spice it up. We did that over here in Wilmington, North Carolina. And I got tired because I was rigging and executing stunts. So when it came to the last part, breaking all the rigging down, he goes, Jack, I'll climb up. I'll break it all down for you. I know you're tired. I said, man, I appreciate that. Well, he went right up in there in a t-shirt because I had the monkey suit on, the Bigfoot costume.
Yeah.
And he had poison ivy all over his neck and his back. So he spent weeks. And I'm like, you never know when you're in the field.
Yeah, you got to expect the unexpected, and and still things will still get you, because like you said, when you're working in the elements, man, it's not always a controlled set, and sometimes I think it's cooler when it's really in the elements, because it feels more real.
Well, there's nothing more real than doing remnants in a nice neighborhood, and one of the neighbors who doesn't want you to film a movie in his neighborhood starts up his boat, and than because he's trying to blow your takes because he's pissed that you're in his neighborhood making a movie.
I remember that guy. Oh God, what a jerk. Because Remnants, you got to remember. So when with that, I'm just talking to the audience. When the Remnants, the plot of the movie is that solar flare hit and there's no power, no electricity, no nothing. So, we would have to cut cameras if we heard cars or a plane overhead or whatever. So the neighborhood we were shooting in, they had like a little network going on, like a group chat or something. And so one of the guys didn't like it, but they all knew what the plot of the movie was. So the guy was deliberately trying to mess up our takes. Starting up his car, or didn't even have like a lawnmower or something. He's like, and just making noise every chance he could.
Well, I think it started because his kids were trying to do street hockey, and the microphones were picking it up. It was blowing the audio, and we asked the kids. One of the production assistants, I think it was a girl, asked them if they could, hold off for a little bit. Well, of course, somebody's offended. Now he's got his boat's running. I'm like, great, good times. Really good times.
So it's not just alligators that will mess up things in the elements. It's neighbors, people.
Right.
Yeah, man. But yeah, dude. Like, in all your experience, you've been doing this for a long time, right? How long have you been doing stunt work and stunt coordinating?
Off and on for 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years, man.
A long time.
You know your stuff. You're a real pro. What does it take, would you say, to someone watching who's interested in doing it? What does it take to be a stuntman? Like, it's more than just durability, right? Like, tell me what would you say the top 3 necessities in a person?
First of all, you got to really want it bad. It's not an easy trade. You better have some good natural talent, some good natural skill to go with it. Usually there's a foundation. People come from gymnastics, they come from parkour, a lot of martial artists, or military training, things like that. You have to be durable, not just physically, but mentally. Usually when I talk to people, I tell them it's the 1 in 10. 1 in 10, like 9 times it's a joke, it's cake. You're falling into a mat, everything's soft, everything's easy. Or you're riding in a harness, but that 1 time in 10, there's no mat. They said in this shot, you got to hit the concrete or you got to get hit by a car. It's like, it's that 1 in 10. And you're like, oh, there's nowhere to hide. There's like, you got to eat it. And that's when it's like 9 times out of 10, it's easy. That 1, it's like, you're going to get hit.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt. And then you're like, okay, there it is. And I think you have to be very intelligent too, because the probability of injury and things to go wrong are always present. So it's lion tamer. You're being a lion tamer. It's like that 1 in 10. Like one of them gets cranky, you better know what you're doing. It's the same thing with stunts. You better have full awareness and work as a team and know what you're doing at all times, because people get hurt. They get hurt real bad.
Yeah, so, man.
And the other thing, real quick, the other thing I would also add to that is just being durable and focused and staying physically fit at all times, because I did a lot of push-ups, a lot of workout. So when I get hit by a car, it minimizes like spinal injury and all this other stuff. It just turned into bruises.
Yeah, man. And is it like with certain trades, with mentors and kind of like, you have somebody that's got to earn their way in through the mentor, like, what I'm saying? So like, do you take younger people under your wing and teach them like that way?
Yeah, that's exactly how it happens. How they're like, if you want to be a magician, there's no real book, there's no real magic school. Right. The only way you're going to learn that is to get with a David Copperfield or a Houdini and then apprentice. And what they do is you end up taking care of the rabbits for a year. Like you're just doing the silly stuff until you slowly learn every little trick, and they'll save the big stuff for much later. And you just keep working and working. And so in our trade, you get on and you do a little fight choreography, you're pulling mats, you're pulling harnesses, you're wiring ropes and cables. And more and more and more, they trust you as they teach you with more. And so that's how your industry grows. But you have to be an apprentice, and you have to have a mentor that's even willing to see something good in you or the value in you. And then you have to just be disciplined to just ride the wave for about 10 years.
Yeah, because I always think about that kind of stuff, and you are like I've seen you do choreography. You choreograph my fight scene. I saw you do the other one. You know, no, what's it called? I'm sorry, man. No invitation.
No appointment. No,
No
it's cool. It
appointment.
was just a small clip that we did for fun. You know what's interesting
That
about
was-
that? It came out. I got a lot of positive feedback and big reviews from industry people. You know, it's one thing when the locals or your family likes it, but the industry people loved it. And what I always wait until they love it, and then I tell them how we shot it. I always wait. And I was like, like there was like 14 people in that, all those guys. And I said, none of them were martial arts experts. None of them were stuntmen.
Right. Yeah.
And all the choreography, I was literally winging it. I was making it up on the fly, completely improv with amateurs. And they go, holy shit, how did you do that? I was like,
dude, that was so impressive for me. I remember going there, and I was like, damn, I'm just gonna get shot. I wanted to get beat up. But I was one of the ones that just got shot. But I was, being a guy that just got shot, I was able to be more fly on the wall and watch the process and watch you work, and to see you improv those fight scenes and see you kind of, you can see the wheel spinning, you can see your how your mind's working, and you're like, you come at me this way, I'm going to do this, and I kick you, you fall over, then and you just were plotting it all out, and then to see the final cut, it would look great when you were doing it live, but then when I saw the final cut and the way it was shot, mixed and edited, and the sound effects and everything combined, it just
music. Music too, it'll ramp you up.
And everything about it, even the story was great, because it leaves a lot to the imagination of what's going on here. But like when you hand the girl the grenade, hold this, and then you go.
Well, think about the viewers. Think about your viewers. They don't know who I am, or maybe they do. I don't know. But they were like, "That must be cool. You hand a girl a grenade, and then walk away." It's like,
I'm gonna have to show the clips.
This thing,
yeah, I'll show little clips here and there, but people should all go. You have your own YouTube page and everything, right?
Yeah.
Jack Harris.
She was pissing me off, so I was like, "Here, this will keep you busy. I'll be back."
And you pull it up so good, because you do have also, I know, just from knowing you through the years, I believe one of your heroes is Clint Eastwood, and you have a Clint Eastwood vibe in your acting too. You do a lot of acting with your face and how you react to things, and that comes through in that piece as well. And I don't know how long it is, like 5 minutes, 6 minutes long.
No, not even. I think it was like 2 minutes or less.
And it
was quick.
It's so good.
2.5.
Yeah, it's really a solid piece, and you took it from conception to delivery. You did the whole thing, and that's kudos to you, man, for that. That's awesome.
I appreciate that. Well, I also had everybody in that. You might not have been martial arts experts, but everybody were professional actors, so it was easy to work with. It was also interesting. We were shooting off 9mm blanks all night in a atrium.
Yeah.
Everybody got your earplugs.
Yeah,
we're hot, like boom, because I mean it's a loud weapon to begin with, and now you're in a room that echoes.
So yeah, that reminds me, being a stunt coordinator and using guns on set, when you hear about this Alec Baldwin mishap, and you do a lot of indie films, low budget films as well, and this is what this seemed to be that Baldwin got involved in. What's your take on it, that whole scenario?
Well, it's almost like American politics. There's what the people see on the news, and then there's what's really going on behind closed doors. You're going to see everybody on Facebook have an opinion, cops have an opinion, a lawyer has an opinion, but it's the stunt and film people kind of know exactly where the breakdowns were. Apparently, for starters, for number one on that list of like 9 things would be, why were there live rounds anywhere near a movie?
Yeah.
Apparently, maybe it's different down in Texas and New Mexico and Arizona, but they were shooting bottles or something offset and then introduced live rounds to set. Like that crossover right there is the number one screw up. The other thing would be is if you're doing a rehearsal, why are you firing the weapon at all?
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't a take. It was a rehearsal. And then the other thing is there's still like a 3 to 5 foot range of a muzzle flash. So even though there's no bullet or projectile, you still have muzzle flash. Why are you pointing this at anybody? You know, unless you're farther back or out of range. I mean, it got, I wasn't there. I didn't read the reports, but I could think of 9 things, 10 things to question. I'm like, yeah, and if I was going to rehearse, I'm going to be like, Donnie, I'm going to hit this mark. I'm going to say my line. I'm going to shoot. You're running camera and you're trying to picture the frame. First of all, why are you pointing it directly at a person? Second of all, if it's rehearsal, why are you pulling the trigger? Like the whole thing just got more and more and more interesting to me. I don't have a definitive opinion of. I mean, the whole thing's tragic, and I'm sorry to hear that it happened. I mean, I'm sure everybody would love to go back and replay the day in a better outcome. It's just professionally, that's where when you have mistakes, and I could think of dozens of movies where people were hurt or killed over the years, it just keeps tightening up the standards for how we got to get safer going forward.
Right. Yeah. And I remember, like, even on Remnants, it was very strict. The gun, the gun stuff. That's how I learned a lot of how to handle a gun on set. Never put your finger on the trigger, always keep it out, you know, your finger out, all that. And then never fire or point the gun at anybody. Always handle the guns as if they're loaded. There was a lot of rules in place for that. And then, you know, when you hear like a seasoned guy like Baldwin, who's done lots of movies with guns.
That's the thing. I mean, he's a juggernaut. He's huge. He's intelligent. He's one of the greatest actors in history. And he's also done like 15, 20 action movies. Yeah. Like, it's not like he came from theater in London and didn't know any better. Like he did a remake of The Getaway, which is all guns. Yeah. Like, he knows what he's doing. I don't know. But then again, he might have just been in a bad place at a bad time. It could have been the staff or the crew or the people around you that if they drop the ball and then you take the heat. Like, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a tragic situation, and that's why I'm glad I got to ask you about that, being you know, on many movie sets, being a stunt coordinator, and understanding firearms and all kinds of dangers on set. Yeah. So it's interesting to hear your take on it.
My only 2 cents on blanks and firearms on set is obviously stuff happens. I could think of 2 or 3 different. I don't want to make this a ugly or a dark interview, but just to tap on it, and we'll talk about something else. Was, you know, there's a teenager that thought it was a top fire. Top fire goes out the top, where muzzle flash goes out the front. Right. He thought it was top fire, and he was faking it, and he accidentally popped himself with muzzle flash. Just the flash is enough force to hurt you. So there's no bullet, but the flash is powerful. It's like a punch. Obviously the Baldwin situation. I talked to people here in Wilmington. Here in Wilmington is where Brandon Lee died.
Yeah, and the Crow.
And I've watched whole reports and everything on how that kind of went down sideways. And so you have to have the safety. You have to make sure everyone's moving in the same direction. But then I've also been on a lot of movies where you even say the word gun and they run in for their trailers. Like, they don't want to be anywhere near one. It's almost like they're petrified and paralyzed. I can't work. I can't do it. It's like, come on, grow up. Right. Give me a break.
Yeah, we're doing a cowboy movie here.
Yeah. Because I was like, we had a sheriff's department and there was no firearms, nothing, but we were just using like weapons with no bullets anywhere in the vicinity. And you could just see the fear come over people's face. I'm like, relax, geez. Right now, it's nothing more than a paperweight.
And have you been on many sets with guns since this Alec Baldwin? And has it been more of an issue? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you would think now people are like even more terrified, you know.
I think the industry is going to just keep going forward doing what they do. You're still going to see Jason Statham. You're still going to see different action stars. If they did Expendables 12 right now, they're all going to be shooting guns. Like, nobody cares. Right. It's almost just really unfortunate what happened over there.
Right. Yeah. Well, God bless everybody involved in that thing, and we'll see what happens with Baldwin and you know, who knows what's going to happen with him and the outcome of this whole thing. But it is a tragedy, and sometimes, like we talk about, you working within the elements. There's a million little scenarios that could happen. There's that 1 in 10 moment, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and quite honestly, he's the one that pulled the trigger, but it's not even really his fault. It really comes down to whoever was the armorer, whoever was controlling the weapons. I mean, it's on them, not Alec. But because he's a megastar, he's famous, he's going to take the heat.
Yeah, he's been taking it.
Yeah, but it's quite honestly, somebody's in charge of all that stuff. And they're supposed to make sure it's blanks. They're supposed to make sure the safety's on. They're supposed to do all that before they hand it to him. But because he's a household name, he's the one everybody talks about.
Damn, that's just crazy.
Yeah,
just
so
crazy. That's why you just stick to the karate movies.
yeah, where they throw their guns away and go like this, like come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so all right, let's go.
Yeah. You're still training. You're still doing the martial.
Yeah,
you're in great shape. I think I'm a little older than you, like by 2 months. I think I got you by.
Help me now. Thank you.
But look at the difference. You look look at you. I always tell you that. I look like
there's some water in the backyard. I think it's like, the springs of, the fountain of youth or something. We had it piped right into the showers. We're like, okay.
We were gonna do that Chase McCoy movie, which I wish we were able to do that, where me and you were gonna be hockey rivals in hockey, and that was gonna be so great. I'll play some of that press release video we did there.
Still cracks me up, some of the stuff in there.
Where are you from, Johnny?
From Alberta.
Canada, eh? Well, isn't that just dandy? I'm not from Canada, Johnny. Okay? I'm from America. Home of the free, land of the brave. We let freedom ring where I'm from, Johnny. And you know what else we do? We make our dreams come true.
You'll never be me, Chase.
McCoy, the quintessential icon for street hockey, maybe best known for his tenacious ego and legendary street hockey battles with former great Alexander Balsaka.
Yeah, that was great, man. Yeah, I would have loved to have done more stuff. And then, I moved shortly after to Atlanta, so we were never able to kind of follow up on a lot of those projects. But who knows, man? We could still make things. I don't know about that movie, but we could still do other stuff for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man. It's always great working with you, man.
Well, you too. I look forward to we will again. So I will also say, I do have some I can't talk about it, and it stinks because, you're on a podcast and you're like, well, then don't bring it up. But that's all we do have some serious things cooking, some big projects. And I will give you a little bit of a teaser that it is martial arts heavy.
Awesome.
So it's combat and martial art heavy. And so we're, I'm a big fan of a lot of the different films that are being made, but we want to take things in a different direction. So
I think that'd be cool. I don't think there's been, there's always good martial art films here and there, but I think we need more of them. And it'd be cool as hell to watch you kick some ass, like you did No Appointment.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but we're talking more like more carnage, broken bones and teeth. And
hey, if you need me, say the word. I'll be
yeah. You know why? I'll tell you. You know why you got shot in No Appointment is because we were running out of time.
Right.
Everybody was supposed to get their ass handed to them, some chopsaki justice, and we were losing our window at this big, beautiful building, and the sun was going to start coming up, and we were going to be forced out. So the guy helping direct it with me, he was like, "Man, you're going to have to just take your gun out and kill everybody." Like, we're running out of time. So it turned into, it was like all this great martial arts, and all of a sudden about 2/3 of the way through, I just pull my weapon and like just shoot like 9 people. Like, wait, sorry guys, we're out of time.
I remember I got shot. Then it like you said, we worked it through the night because of the location. It was overnight through the night.
Yeah.
I remember laying there on my mark, dead, and I actually fell asleep.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you know what cracks me up? The two things I remember the most on that was I have 14 men in suits standing in the middle of the room, and we're going through our scenes and our fight choreography. And because I brought a model in to play the receptionist, a friend of mine. And I remember she was like former Miss North Carolina or something. When she got there, the whole room looked at her, was like, Jesus, like we're not messing around on this. And the other thing that cracked me up was Brick Jackson, the comic, this funny guy. He's hysterical. He was our comic relief ending at the end of this.
Oh,
We didn't shoot. He's in none of the fight choreography. And so he shows up early. He's wearing a suit. And now he's in a holding pattern for like 7 or 8 hours, and he's tired. So he goes over to one of the benches and starts sleeping. Well, I go hot towards the end with the weapon. So this is where everybody gets shot. And these are full loads, which means there's no bullet, but it's full pack gunpowder. So you would say quarter load, half load, 3/4. Well, these are full. So they're loud as the 9mm rounds, just as equally as loud. And I'm firing off 16 rounds in an atrium, and everybody's ears are bleeding because it's so damn loud in here. And somebody said, Brick's still asleep over there. Like, how the hell do you sleep through 16 9mm rounds indoors?
I remember that, man. Yeah, we all had.
He was asleep. He wasn't.
Yeah,
he was over there.
He was out cold, man.
Yeah, we're boom, 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 still sleeping.
Dude, those are good times, man. Chris Holdsworth was with us on that shoot as well. Good old Holdsy. And I missed that whole scene. I miss working with you guys. I missed the North Carolina film scene a lot, man. Those are some of the best.
I think they miss you up there in Raleigh.
I would love to work with some of those guys again. It's not. I'm always up there because my kids are there still. My older kids. So yeah, man. So one of these days we'll go up there, spend some time, do some movie magic.
Well, I'm hoping to also work with Mike Howard, hopefully. So you never know.
Yeah, that was another great movie. We were both in it, but we worked different scenes. You had a great part. I played the son of that woman who's maybe like 4 years older than me. I'm like,
yeah. She's
I'm like
4 years older.
Yeah, and I'm her son. Yeah, she was great. I think she won an award for that movie. I think an acting award. Yeah. So, but
it was the Asheville Film Festival. I was nominated too. I didn't win.
Yeah, man, dude, you were great.
Out to a college kid or something.
Dude, your scene was so good in that because you played it so calm. You were like this mafia, head guy, and
like a crime boss.
Yeah, you were like a crime boss, and you're talking to the girl. And then he's right. And you had some good scenes in that movie, some really memorable stuff. And you did the Clint Eastwood face when you caught your daughter in bed. You did the face, and then the kid gets up and runs out.
You know what's funny is I'm like maybe 1 inch taller than Clint, so I get the similarity when I shave and everything. I get occasionally. But what was funny is the day we shot that, and my character has a teenage daughter who's in bed with her boyfriend, and my character's like a mob boss. So it's like you don't want to cross this guy's daughter up, get caught naked with his kid. So the camera pans over to this fist, and then it slowly tilts up, and it reveals who the dad is, and it's like the mob boss's daughter. You could hear the whole audience like, whoa, like. The guy he's not like a school teacher or a podiatrist or something. Like he's gonna kill her. He's gonna kill everybody. Anyway, it was just funny there's a line where my character says to the teenage boy, I guess trying to screw my daughter, and this is like, get the fuck out of here now, or something like that. Whatever, 1 minute or 5 seconds to get the fuck out of here. And when we went to shoot that, I said, how do you want me to say this? And we talked about like the acting side of this. And I was like, and I did Clint as a joke, just being an idiot.
Right.
And they were like, no, that's perfect. Do that.
Yeah.
And it's in the movie. It's like, get the fuck out.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here now.
Yeah.
And just like, and you had the face, they had the whole thing. It was great, man. Great scene. One of the, it was a great movie. Mike Howard did a terrific job on directing and writing that whole film. Every scene, it's all these different storylines that all kind of bleed into each other. And it was really well done. I think it's won some awards out there in festivals.
A ton of awards.
Yeah, man. So I was proud to be part of that one.
Same.
And you were awesome in it. So good stuff, man. What do you got coming up now? Are you working? You got any projects cooking? I know you said you have some stuff going on.
I'm working with a major company right now. I got to keep everything on the down low.
Okay, cool.
I hate it. I wish I could tell you everything, but I can't. All I can tell you, it's a major company, straight to distribution. So it's not low level or independent film or film festival. Like it's going to go into distribution, and it's old school action film type stuff, but modernized. And so there's going to be a lot of martial arts, a lot of guns, a lot of chase scenes, people dying, everything.
Hell yeah.
A lot of bad guys.
My kind of movie. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Awesome.
So Jack, where could people find you, find your stuff, and follow you?
Oh, well, they can't. Like, I just take everything offline right now. My webpage, I probably need to update it. It's been a while, but it would be officialjackharrison.com. And I have my reels, or you can just go to YouTube if you want to see some of the things I've been a part of. Again, a lot of this stuff, I'm a good stunt man, but I'm not great at social media. You could imagine. So, but there's a lot of clips, a lot of things out there. You can check it out.
Dude, you rock, man. It was great catching up with you, Jack, man. It's been a long time, couple of years, but we definitely got to get together and have a couple more beers again, man.
Absolutely. And let's work together again soon.
Yeah, for sure, man. Jack Harrison, everybody, check him out. The one and only, my friends.